I used to think freedom would arrive with fireworks, that one day everything would suddenly be different. The fear would disappear, the doubts would finally become quiet, and I would somehow become the woman I'd always hoped to be. But life didn't change that way. It changed so quietly that I almost missed it. One morning, I stood on my balcony holding a cup of warm tea, watching the city slowly wake up. And for the first time in years, I wasn't rushing. I wasn't rehearsing conversations in my head. I wasn't trying to prove anything. I wasn't carrying everyone else's expectations before the day had even begun. I was simply there. Nothing extraordinary happened that morning. No miracle, no dramatic breakthrough, just one quiet realization. Maybe that's what freedom actually feels like. Not louder, quieter. Looking back, I don't think anyone noticed the day I began changing. There wasn't an announcement, there wasn't a celebration, there wasn't even a single decision that felt important at the time. It happened the way most meaningful things happen. Quietly. One ordinary choice at a time. I stopped apologizing for needing a day to myself. I stopped explaining why I didn't answer every message immediately. And I stopped believing that I had to be available every moment of the day to be considered a good woman. At first, those choices felt uncomfortable, almost selfish, because I'd spent so many years believing that love looked like constant sacrifice. If everyone else was okay, then maybe I could finally relax. If everyone else understood my decisions, then maybe I wouldn't have to question them myself. But that's a moving target. There will always be someone who wishes you had stayed longer, worked harder, given more, explained yourself better, and if your peace depends on everyone else's approval, you'll spend your life chasing something that was never yours to carry. Looking back now, I realize I had confused kindness with disappearing. I believed making myself smaller was the price of being loved. But kindness and self-abandonment were never the same thing. The older I get, the more I understand that protecting my peace doesn't make me selfish. It makes me honest. People sometimes ask me what changed after 50. I always smile because there wasn't one answer. Nothing changed overnight. There wasn't one conversation, one book, or one breakthrough. There were hundreds of quiet decisions that nobody noticed. I stopped answering every message the moment it arrived. I stopped saying yes when every part of me wanted to say no. I stopped believing that disappointing someone else was always worse than disappointing myself. That lesson took years to learn. For so long, I measured my worth by how much of myself I was willing to give away. My time, my energy, my attention, my peace, and every time I gave a little more, people called me generous. But I noticed I was becoming exhausted. Somewhere along the way, I realized something that changed everything. The most generous version of me isn't the exhausted one. It isn't the woman who carries everyone else's burdens while quietly ignoring her own. The most generous version of me is the woman who is healthy enough to love people without abandoning herself. That realization didn't make me harder. It made me freer. And freedom begins with one quiet decision: to stop giving your peace away. There comes a moment when you stop asking, who am I supposed to be? And you begin asking, who have I always been? For a long time, I believed becoming meant adding something. More confidence, more success, more certainty, more proof that I was enough. But somewhere after 50, I discovered something unexpected. Becoming wasn't about adding. It was about releasing. Releasing the need to explain every decision, releasing the need to make everyone comfortable, releasing the belief that my worth could somehow be measured by how much I was willing to sacrifice. That doesn't mean life suddenly became easy. It didn't. I still have difficult mornings. I still question myself sometimes. I still have moments where fear quietly knocks at the door. The difference is fear no longer gets to make the decisions. Peace does. These days, my mornings begin differently. I wake up slowly. I make my tea. I step onto the balcony. I watch the light move across the city. The dogs stretch. The world begins to awake, and for a few quiet moments, nothing is asking anything from me. Years ago, I would have called those moments unproductive. Today, I call them my life. I no longer measure a successful day by how busy I was. I measure it by how present I allowed myself to be. Because peace isn't something you accidentally find. Peace is something you protect. Every boundary, every honest no, every moment you choose rest over guilt. Every time you stop apologizing for becoming more yourself. Those quiet decisions become the foundation of a completely different life. Sometimes I wonder what the younger version of me would think if she could see me now. She would probably notice the apartment, the balcony, the dogs, the business, the quiet mornings. But I don't think those things would surprise her the most. I think she would notice that I finally looked at peace. Not because life became perfect, but because I finally stopped fighting myself. For years, I apologized for taking up space, for resting, for changing, for protecting my peace, for choosing myself. And every apology quietly taught me that my needs mattered a little less than everyone else's. I don't believe that anymore. Now, when I wake up, I don't ask who needs me first. I ask, how do I want to live today? That one question changed everything, because this journey was never really about aging. It was never really about healing. It was never really about success. It was about coming home to the woman I had been searching for my entire life, only to discover she had been waiting for me all along. If you're watching this today and you've spent years apologizing for taking up space, for protecting your peace, for saying no, for changing, or simply for becoming, I hope you'll remember this. You don't have to change your whole life tomorrow. You don't have to explain your decision. You don't have to earn the right to choose yourself. Sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is quietly stop apologizing for the woman you're becoming. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, take care of your peace, love. It deserves to stay with you.